often than not, when a show or movie is based on a book, I typically haven't read the source material. That is not the case, though, with Apple TV's newest series, Dark Matter. The novel by Blake Crouch, it is brilliant and a little mind-melting, but not so complex that it can't be enjoyable. So how well does the series adapt the source? Let's jump in. Jason Dessen is a physicist, professor, and family man who was abducted into an alternate version of his life one night while walking home on the streets of Chicago. Wonder quickly turns to nightmare when he tries to return to his reality amid the mind-bending landscape of lives he could have lived. In this labyrinth of realities, he embarks on a harrowing journey to get back to his true family and save them from the most terrifying, unbeatable foe imaginable, himself. So, to be transparent, it's not like I just finished reading the novel so that every detail is fresh in my mind. But from everything that I do remember, the series sticks very close to the source, and even if it does vary some, the heart of the story, it is still very much intact. Now, a lot of that occurs thanks to author Blake Crouch serving as co-screenwriter and executive producer of the show. So if, or maybe when, there were changes, he was well aware of them. Now, this is very much a sci-fi series, but it's also a mysterious family drama. Edgerton plays Jason, this brilliant family man who chose family over high-paying success. Jennifer Connelly plays his wife Daniela, and they're shown right from the start to have a very loving and close relationship. Now, Jason's coming home from a friend's celebration one time when his life has just turned absolutely upside down thanks to being kidnapped. I mean, that would really screw you up, right? Well, from here, we watch a harrowing and tense story play out as Jason tries to find his way home. Now, Edgerton is excellent in this. Sometimes he needs to display different aspects of a personality, some of which go against what he were shown of his character. And at times, this can be a little confusing, especially with how the narrative begins to play out in the latter episodes. But every time the series effectively leads us back into understanding. It's never dragging us out into the ether to flounder. Well, at least not for too long. Now, the first 2 episodes, they're dropping at once, and then the rest of the 9 total episodes are going to be released weekly. Now, they're about an hour, so at least there is a bunch of meaty content for us. And watching weekly could feel a bit like some of the storylines maybe are just rinse and repeat, but they're really not. I mean, this isn't a weekly case or issue to solve. This is an ongoing narrative filled with twists, character explorations, and crazy reveals. And if you are confused about what's going on in episode 1, don't give up. By the end of the second episode, we're given enough information on the plot to understand what's going on, but that doesn't mean that there aren't a crap ton of complications and complexities that are going to arise. We're told a bit of how and why something happened, but that's not going to diminish the suspense or intrigue. Now, Alice Braga is also a key player in this, along with Jimmy Simpson, and both of them, they are just excellent additions to the cast, especially with how they affect and influence Jason Dessen. They bring out some humanity, but also because of story circumstances, they can be wily and a bit treacherous, keeping us guessing at times on internal motives and their level of trustworthiness. Now, the pacing for the series, it is deliberate and tense, but it doesn't come across as rushed. We can feel the urgency the characters are feeling, especially as the episodes near the finale. There are built-in limitations that hinder the characters, both in time and supplies, so this ever-ticking clock puts immense pressure on them. Now, a couple of times we get to witness how different characters deal with their individual stressors, and it's entertaining as we can root for dire things to happen to the antagonists, but also squirm when something less than desirable befalls our heroes. Now, I found that my heart was pounding several times because you can feel the thumb of pressure just being exerted, slowly compressing until something has just gotta burst. And while the series as a whole is exciting, sometimes trippy, the final 2 episodes, they triple down on the crazy complexities so that it is a breathtaking couple of hours. And I'm impressed at how sparse the special effects usage is. I mean, we're shown some different environments that the characters go into. Each of them feel lived in and tangible. Sure, I mean, there are effects at play just to build these out, but for a sci-fi show, this uses very few effects, keeping the focus instead on the characters and the relationships. And I was really enjoying the moral dilemmas that our characters were facing. They're working to solve a puzzle where choices need to be made, and each choice results in countless variations, which then spiral out from there. Now, luckily for simplicity, the story uses more of a binary approach to these decisions, meaning that when a choice is made, just another possibility has opened up. This helps to streamline not only the storytelling, but also the ease of understanding. I mean, the concepts, they're complex enough without multiplying every single decision by infinity. Now, these moral decisions, they also feel weighty. As time ticks down and resources diminish, fear begins to increase and hope then starts to fade. And the emotions that each character displays during these pivotal moments, they're palpable and also a little nerve-wracking. And I'm very happy with how the series wraps up, too. I mean, it gives us a satisfying conclusion and it doesn't leave massive holes unanswered. Now, because of the nature of the entire plot, there is more that could be explored, but the main narrative finds its resolve, and I thought it was really satisfying. And I do hope that this is made as a limited series, because there's only one book. There's no real need to continue with the other characters, or even Jason and Daniela. Now, I was enthralled the entire time during the story, and even though I kind of remembered the outcomes, it was still intense and stressful. A lot of that is helped along by the urgency of shrinking time and resources without rushing through story elements so that they feel flimsy or underdeveloped. I think for me, the only real complaint I have is that at certain points, the lighting of the series, it's very dark. So if you're watching in any sort of environment that casts the glare across your screen, I mean, no matter how minimal, it makes a lot of the sequences very difficult to make out actions, faces, or even the settings. I mean, I appreciate the aesthetic that's crafted because there's this industrial grittiness to a lot of the production, and then it's also interspersed with bright settings or crisp environments. But when a lot of this takes place in nighttime scenarios or in occluded hallways, it makes me wish for just room darkening blinds so that I could enjoy this in utter darkness. So overall, Dark Matter takes a very complex premise and infuses it with tangible relational drama and a pressure cooker level of stress to craft a heady but straightforward and understandable narrative filled with twists, dilemmas, and anxiety-filled situations. Joel Edgerton, Jennifer Connelly, and Alice Braga all chew through their roles, with Edgerton taking on the most demanding tasks of the three. He convincingly delivers various aspects of personalities, shifting gears in an instant to give us variation that sometimes is only discernible through minor nuance. The storytelling is captivating, and while this would be preferable as a binge, the meaty episodes make the weekly release worth the watch. There's barely any sex, tiny bit of nudity, a lot of profanity, and then some very sudden and brutal violence. I give Dark Matter 4.5 out of 5 couches. So what complex stories do you enjoy watching? For me, I mean, there's two that really stand out. Primer, and then the German series Dark. Let me know some of yours, though, in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.